SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
We should have gone on the air earlier than usual today, because here is what we have to get to on this Monday edition of Sports Talk Mississippi. Basketball. Ole Miss escapes with a win. It's never going to happen, but I just like saying it at this point. Ole Miss escapes with a win. It was a fun game for the last 10 minutes or so. The first 30 left a lot to be desired, but talk about that. You're crowning a national champion in college football tonight. Indiana, Miami coming up about 30 minutes, well, more like 45 minutes after we get off the air. We'll talk about that. The NFL, 2 overtime games, 4 games this weekend, 50% went to overtime. The other 2, not all that exciting, but we'll talk about that. We'll get to winners and losers. And, of course, as the portal world turns, you have contracts to talk about today, buyout language, and, of course, players jumping on board at both Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So all that and more with you on a Monday. Borkey, Hadad, Cross here today, and we are so glad that you guys are with us.
We are glad you're here in the Pearl River Resort studio. PearlRiverResort.com is the place to book your next exciting weekend, doing whatever it is you like to do. And I can't stress enough that last part. If you are a person that enjoys relaxing, or if you need to have entertainment at all times, we've got you covered at Pearl River Resort. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. Every sports fan can tell you fast speed wins games. That's why C-Spire brings you fiber home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and IT solutions that move as fast as your business. Learn more at cspire.com. C-Spire, inspired by you.
Having a bit of technical difficulties on Richard's end. Go figure. Welcome to the show.
There's cobwebs in the port, and he's got to clean those out.
All right, Hadad, make the executive decision, though. Where do we begin today? Because we will do the portal update, as we always do, to start the 5 o'clock hour, but I do think there's more nuance with, specifically, as Marty leads the show on the text line, Prince Will Uman-Mielen. Do we start there, or do we get basketball out of the way?
Let's do basketball.
Okay.
Get it going here.
We'll get into it right now. You were there, so you can comment better than the two of us can. 68-67, the final. Ole Miss beats Mississippi State. Josh Hubbard had the ball at the rim basically as time was expiring, couldn't get it to go. That comes a possession after he missed a pair of free throws that would have given Mississippi State the lead. Ole Miss pulls away with a win. These two teams, in the last 10 minutes, they started making shots, and so the game got a little bit more fun. Ole Miss shot 10% from 3 and 41% from the field. Mississippi State, a much better 19% from 3 and only 37% from the field. What did you see? What happened?
I mean, I saw some really bad basketball is what I saw. 2 not good teams. Somebody had to win, and ends up being Ole Miss. You mentioned the three-point shooting. At one point in the second half, I think the two teams were a combined 1 of 39 or something like that.
And the thing is, Hadad, they were good shots. It's not like they were jacking up just stupid shots.
I mean, neither one of these teams could do anything. State had 0 interior from their starters. They had to go to the bench. And I think Jamarian Davis-Fleming is a guy who State needs to talk about starting going forward. He's at least giving you some effort out there. Quincy Ballard, I mean, he's just a 7-foot, tackling dummy out there right this second. Give Ole Miss a lot of credit. Hostile environment. They trailed by. This is the third straight game for State where they've led by double digits in the first half and they end up losing the game. But in this one, I thought State did a better job of fighting back as Ole Miss made their run, and the game was back and forth. And in the end, it was Ole Miss who just made more plays than Mississippi State did. I agree with something that Jan said at the end. If you're a State fan and I tell you you're down one, but I'm going to give you Hubbard on the line with 2 shots, you'll take it. You take it every time. And then, okay, he misses those, but he's got the ball with 9 seconds to go, still down 1.
At the rim.
At the rim. You had some people complaining about Hubbard saying he should have dished it. That is not Josh Hubbard's job there. His job as the superstar, he's to make that shot and win the game. 9 times out of 99% of the time he's going to do it. He just didn't this time. State to lose by 1 in a game where Epps and Hubbard shot that poorly. It's incredible that State was even in the game. I thought Dia was really good. Storr, obviously, very good for the Rebels. But, these are not 2 very good teams. I just don't, watching this game, I was like, Ole Miss has a little bit of momentum. They've won 3 in a row, but that won't be a tournament team at the end of this.
Yeah, that win in Athens is more impressive, frankly, than the win Saturday.
And 100%. And State, their season is basically just, how many more wins can they pile up? But there's not going to be any postseason for Mississippi State either. So, good win for the Rebels. And like I said, 3 in a row is nothing to sneeze at. They do have some momentum at this point. They just got to keep stacking up wins. I just don't know how many they need, when you look at their net. How many are they going to need to be on the bubble when we get to the middle of March?
Yeah, read a little bit about that. Some people think that their magic number is 10 conference wins. Because of just simply the SEC, despite being down this year, is still the best basketball conference in America statistically. It is still the best one, despite having taken, frankly, a pretty big step backwards as a league from last year to this year. But the numbers say it is still the best. I think that it's safer if they get to 11, because the teams that you have to beat to get there, you know what I mean? And we'll see. Look, you're not going to shoot 10% from 3 and win probably another SEC game this year. You played tough. You played hard. You didn't get out-rebounded. They did not turn the basketball over. They're really good at protecting the ball.
Yeah, they did good on that.
But your poor shooting performance coincided with a pathetic shooting performance as well. You're not going to get that again this season against a decent team, especially on the road. So
this didn't make sense. Epps is 1 of 12 from 3-point range. Stop taking the shots, man.
Well, yeah,
get to the rim. He had some success getting to the rim. He's 1 of 12 from 3, but 4 of 18. So that means he was 3 of 6, 50%. Just take some shots to the rim. I didn't, it's the story of State season. They make mistakes. They get nothing out of their front court. When you're starting power forward and center, Achor and Quincy Ballard combined for 8 rebounds and 5 points. You're probably not going to win very many games like that.
Yeah.
Then you combine that with, Hubbard, who's a 20-plus per game scorer, getting 13. It's just not going to happen.
And we've gotten a few texts on this. I wanted us to spend more time on the Hubbard discussion. He is a human being, after all, but still, there's layers to your star player. I think the highest paid player on your campus in any sport.
He will be up unless Jordan Seaton comes to Mississippi State. He will have title.
But from the Ole Miss perspective, it's 3 in a row. They beat Missouri at home, obviously won at Georgia, obviously won at Mississippi State. There's life back into the team. How have they done it? They had a string of non-conference games in a row where they were in them late and just did not make the plays that they did in Athens and then also on Saturday night. They're starting to figure some things out. Hadad brought up Storr. Storr is showing you why Kansas wanted him, why he was an elite prospect out of high school, why people thought that he was going to be a surefire NBA player. He's starting to come into that role, and he didn't shoot great. Nobody shot great, but you're seeing that he can score at multiple levels. He's an athletic defender. You saw it, right? You see why people are excited about Storr, but they're doing things. They're protecting the basketball. They're not getting dominated on the glass anymore. They're not making egregious mistakes on defensive rotations anymore. They're doing a lot good, and so now they have afforded themselves the opportunity to play meaningful basketball games. Tomorrow night in Oxford should be electric. even though it's not Bruce Pearl's Auburn, and this is most certainly a more beatable Auburn team than last year and in the previous years.
Well, that helps. That should help the crowd.
It should help.
You think you're going to win.
But Auburn still kind of brings that kind of a cachet with them. People are excited to watch this game tomorrow because, Auburn's in town still, despite them having taken a step backwards. And so now it's like, hey, you've won 3 in a row. The team is starting to figure some things out. Carmodine, I thought, was really good. Really good, relatively speaking, compared to how the game went. But they're starting to kind of come into something here. And then Patton Pinkins, 2 games in a row, he hits the game winner. The young freshman he's a really good shooter, and he shot terribly on Saturday, but he makes the one shot that he needed, and you've got to love that. Okay, before you think I'm comparing him to Michael Jordan, I'm not, but just the scene from Air, where Nike courted Michael Jordan, and Matt Damon's character is like, here's this true freshman. He expected the ball. He didn't panic. Right. And Patton Pinkins was 0 for 7. And he gets a kick out in the corner with the game on the line, makes a ball fake, steps into a little floater, and just confidently nails this little baseline floater. You have got to love his mentality as a freshman. He's unafraid to shoot, has an awful night, and steps in and makes what is ultimately the game winner. So some life back into Ole Miss basketball. Still a long way to go. The flip side, though, Mississippi State and Josh Hubbard. We got the text. We will get to those when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, just getting started.
Hi, this is Mark.
Communication system is a go. Go!
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Exactly.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Hey, Dad, we have Richard now. We're good to go.
Hey, guys.
We left off talking about Ole Miss's win over Mississippi State, what it means for Ole Miss, life back into the team. They're starting to, seems like, gel a little bit. You're getting some quality minutes from the bigs, so on and so forth. They've got a big game coming up tomorrow, big opportunity coming up tomorrow. Patton Pinkins, the hero again, all that. Then there's the flip side. We've gotten a handful of messages about this, and these are professional athletes now, and Josh Hubbard is a multi-millionaire playing basketball for Mississippi State. And so I think it's easier to say this now than it would have been 10 years ago. When you've got a highly paid professional basketball player on the free throw line with 2 shots to take a lead, and then also given the opportunity again at the rim to make a shot, and you miss all 3, it's going to come with some heavy criticism. He's a human being. He's allowed to miss shots. The best basketball players to ever live have missed clutch shots at times, but the frustration is justified from State fans, I think. That is when a highly paid professional basketball player is supposed to step up and at least tie the game from the free throw line. And unfortunately, just call it what it is. He's a great player, seems like a really good kid. He choked on Saturday.
Yeah, I think he would tell you the same. That's his job. You're on the line down 1. You've got 2 free throws. You're an 80% plus free throw shooter. You got to make those. You got to at least make 1 and tie the game, and he just didn't. And then, he gets the ball. State gets a lifeline when they miss the free throw to keep the game at 1. And then Jans does this thing, and I've asked Jans about this before, and I just disagree with him. He's the coach, so he gets to make those decisions, but in those closing seconds, he never wants to call a timeout. He will always allow the game to play out, and whatever happens, happens. And in his defense, in this situation, Hubbard was able to get all the way to the rim and lay the ball up, and it just didn't go in. So I can't. Maybe he's right in that, but I can give you about 3 or 4 games in his coaching career at State where he had a chance to set up a final play, but he won't call a timeout there. But Hubbard's got to make that shot. That's what you're paying Hubbard to do. That's why you have Josh Hubbard on your team. That's why he is the face of your program. For him to miss that shot, that's a bad look. And, I think if you give him that opportunity 100 times, he probably makes that shot. He definitely makes the free throws more often than not, and probably makes that shot more often than not. He just didn't fall this night. So I'm trying not to take too much as far as an overarching thought on what Jans is from this. But in that moment, Hubbard screwed up, lost the game, and that's that. I can put this game on Josh Hubbard. Hubbard, the way he shot, State's not going to win any games where he shoots like that.
13 points, 3 of 16 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3, 5 of 10 from the free throw line, and turned it over 3 times.
Yeah, Chris Jans is not all of a sudden a bad basketball coach.
Right.
I mean, this is a guy that has taken Mississippi State to the NCAA tournament each year that he's been there. He took New Mexico State to the tournament the year before when he was there. The guy knows how to coach. His style has evolved a little bit. Mississippi State, although I really thought they kind of played better defense on Saturday night than they had most of what we saw all of last year. They kind of got away from some of that defensive intensity. But, yeah, your point about Hubbard, for his career, he's a 40% shooter from the field.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, he was 19%. For his career, he is a 34% three-point shooter. On Saturday night, he was 25%. For his career, he's over 80% from the free throw line. Right. He was 50% on Saturday night. Right. And you need your best player to play their best games and the biggest games, and certainly that rivalry game was a big game, and that's a disappointing finish.
Yeah, and your comment about State's defense, I don't know how good State's defense really was in this game. I thought Ole Miss missed a lot of open shots. I thought the offense was just poor on both ends of the court. But you get the credit for it, I guess, holding them to 68 points when you've given up 90-plus in 3 of your 4 games in conference play.
Yeah, these are good shooters. Good's relative, right? But Ole Miss has better outside shooters than Patton Pinkins missing all 3 of his threes. Carmodine missing all 4 of his threes. Travis Perry making 1 of his 4, and Storr, who had a good night otherwise, only making 1 of his 5. They are better shooters than that.
They just missed. And State, same thing with Epps and McGee and Hubbard. They just a bad shooting night. Ole Miss got the win. It's as simple as that. Hubbard played a bad game. Somebody on the C Spire text line says, I'm an Ole Miss fan, and I fully expect him to have 25 when they play this game in Oxford.
He's going to be unconscious in the pavilion.
It very well could happen. But in this one, he had a bad game. And you're right. I mean, Jordan had bad games. LeBron, Kobe. Not that Josh Hubbard's on that tier of player, but nobody has ever gone out there and showed up and given you 25, 10, and 10 every time out. So,
is there something about, I don't know, there was a lot made of it, and there was good atmosphere and a lot of pregame buildup or whatever that caused both teams to play tighter than normal? I mean, you can point to Josh Hubbard and 3 of 16, but you also don't expect Jaden Epps to go 4 of 18 and 1 of 12 from behind the arc.
You need to check the rims there. I mean, is there something wrong with the?
Well, the previous couple games the balls have been going in. I don't know what it was. It's just an off night for everybody, and maybe the nature of the rivalry. I don't think that had anything to do. Especially when you're talking about.
I don't either. I mean, they were both 10 and 7.
Well, not only that, Richard, but and I was sitting next to Danny Smith from the Starkville Daily News. He pointed this out. There's only 2 players on either team from Mississippi.
Yeah,
Josh Hubbard and Jamarian Davis Fleming. This is not 2 decades. I mean, even last year when you had Cam Matthews, it had some history with Ole Miss. It was just not the same. Ole Miss brought Carmodine. Is that did I say it correctly?
Yeah, that works.
To the post game press conference, and somebody asked him about the rivalry, and he was like, I mean, what does he want him to say? The guy's from France. Yeah. What does he know about Mississippi State and Ole Miss? So I don't think. I just think it was just a bad. I think this is 2 mediocre teams. Ole Miss played better on Saturday. They get the win. They have some momentum going forward. We'll see if they can turn it around. But I just thought it was 2 bad teams playing basketball. Somebody had to win.
I actually need to go find his quote then about getting asked about the rivalry.
Yeah, he's like, I
play
some hard rivalries back home. I don't know, I'm sure Paris versus Marseille was a heck of a bloodbath, man. I don't know.
Ilias Lepew.
Yeah, I don't know what they wanted to say. My favorite part of the post-game press conference was twofold. When they said Ole Miss came in, they were like, question for the players, then we'll talk to Coach Beard. And the guy asked, not only did he ask Beard a question, but he called him Jans. And I thought that was hilarious. He said, Coach Jansen. I just went, what? I thought that was funny.
Did he respond nicely?
Yeah, well, you could tell he was a little peeved.
Yeah, that would be.
But he did say, I'll answer that after we talk to players. And he came back, and that was the first question he answered.
The instructions were fairly simple here.
I thought they were.
Paint by number.
I thought they were.
You went out of order on the numbers, though.
Yeah.
Borkey, I was thinking about, what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you're like, cancel basketball, it's over. And then it's like, wait, hold on a second. Maybe don't cancel basketball for Mississippi State just yet. And now it's like, well, there's a let it play out. You think about Ole Miss in their 5 SEC games. So against Oklahoma, they actually played pretty well for about, 75% of that game?
Like 34 minutes they were in it and then just lost it completely.
And it ends up being, a loss that was in the teens on the road.
16, yeah.
I honestly didn't watch much of the Arkansas game. That was the night before the Fiesta Bowl and just wasn't in a spot to watch it. But if you go back and you look at the score, I mean, you got the basketball and a chance to make it a 2-point game or a 1-point game with just a couple of minutes left and can't make a shot. And then I think Acuff makes a big shot at the end and Arkansas ends up escaping.
No, they played well that night.
Yeah.
Arkansas is just a good team.
And then just kind of gutted it out against Missouri. And then who knew that this team was capable of putting 95 or 97, whatever it was they did on the board on Wednesday night against Georgia. And now all of a sudden there's some confidence. And the thing that was missing, it didn't feel like there was anything close to a killer instinct. All the chips are down and it's crunch time and there's somebody that's going to make a play.
Yeah.
That thing that was so glaringly obvious in December and the first couple of weeks of January, all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're real confident in a tight game.
That 4-game losing streak, all 4 losses were by single digits. Mm-hmm. One of them by 1 point, 2 of them by 5. I mean, they had those opportunities and just didn't capitalize. And I told Hadad when you were trying to get connected, the scene from the movie Air. Pat Pinkins is not Michael Jordan, but just the scene stuck out to me where Matt Damon's like, look at how confident Jordan is making this shot. He was expecting the ball, even though he was a freshman, and the play was not designed for it. It was designed for whatever. That scene. That's Pat Pinkins. He was awful Saturday night. He was 0 for 7, or 0 for 6, 0 for 7. And then he gets a kick out with just seconds remaining in the game. Little ball fake, gets a guy in the air, takes one dribble, and hits this little baseline and wins the game. 2 games in a row, he hits the game winner. You've got to love that confidence from the freshman, but that's the closing that they didn't do.
Yeah. Not afraid of the big moment, and kind of now stuck in a spot where you're like, you got to keep bringing A.J. Storr off the bench. Because you found something that works. He deserves to be a starter, but you kind of got to stay with this combo that you're going with right now.
The new year brings new Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Do you ever get so excited that you just can't wait?
Yes! Sports Talk Mississippi, covering your Mississippi teams.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Don't touch that dial!
Here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Oh, sorry, Hadad. I did twice in 2 shows.
We have a thing.
We have a thing.
We have a thing here.
That's my bad. I just wanted to read this message and...
Well, you can read it after I tell our listeners about our friends over at AgriGold. AgriGold believes progress in the field starts with seed and the people who plant it. That's why AgriGold focuses 100% on seed, delivering trusted genetics and solutions to help you get more out of every acre. Contact Carrie Baker at 662-836-7417, your local AgriGold representative, to learn more, or you can visit agrigold.com to explore seed solutions and agronomy resources. Plant your legacy today with AgriGold.
All right, on the C Spire text line, somebody says, I've listened during a massage, and now I'm listening while having a HIIT class, HIIT, high-intensity interval training, class in a sauna, learning new ways to listen every day. Hey, Coach Kiffin, we appreciate you checking us out.
We love you, Lane. At least I do.
Oh, man, he tried his hardest to get as many Ole Miss players as he could to hit the portal late.
The William Eccles thing was a troll?
He was trolling, yes.
Okay. I saw the picture, and I was just like, I've been to LSU a few times. I was like, if that's at LSU, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, he was trolling. Although,
why are you trolling your own people, man? I bet they've made them freak out.
I think he was trolling the other direction.
He was trying to troll Kiffin, I assume.
But he got. There was friendly fire.
He got
collateral damage.
There were some strays.
Yeah.
They don't really. So sometimes they don't really think these things through, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, really, only at the last minute was able to get one, or so we think. It's a complicated conversation. Let's have it right now. As we told you last week, Prince Will Umanmielen made it. His intentions to enter the transfer portal known. But after the show Friday, we learned that Ole Miss is contesting that because, like the Damon Williams situation, he has a buyout because he signed a deal with Ole Miss that includes rev share money, just like Damon Williams. And we talked, kind of thinking out loud of, well, does he have a deal like that or does he not? And if so, then whoever signs him or brings him in would owe Ole Miss a buyout. Sure enough, that is exactly the case. And reportedly, it's a very substantial buyout. You're talking about almost $600,000 that would have to come out of your revenue share fund, and it would have to go to Ole Miss. Now, it would not go into Ole Miss's rev share fund. It would just be money that Ole Miss gets to use for other things, which $600K goes a long way, even if it doesn't just go to your rev share. But still, that has complicated the situation. As of today, and I guess this is a holiday, he is not yet in the transfer portal. They spent the weekend trying to figure that out. And then I assume, based on some reporting and stuff like that, that LSU is trying to figure out whether or not they want to pay it. And maybe there are some other schools involved that might be more willing to pay a substantial buyout like that for a guy that had 9 sacks in the SEC last year. And I don't think this is going to happen, but there is the chance that he does what Damon Williams did and returns to the school of which he willingly signed a contract with about a week ago. So that's a lot to unpack, and we have talked about a lot of this already, and there's still more to add.
Ole Miss has until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night before they are required to officially put him in the portal. The buyout is $550,000, and so if somebody, to your point, were to add him to their team, then they would owe $550,000 to Ole Miss. I wonder if, as they make changes going forward, if any buyout money that has to be paid to another school gets added to the amount that they would be able to spend in rev share. Because as it stands right now, that does not increase Ole Miss's revenue sharing pool. It just is a payment to Ole Miss. But it does reduce the revenue sharing pool of the team that takes the player that has already signed a deal somewhere else.
Yeah. And that's
and I'm told Ole Miss is likely to put him in the portal. I don't think they're going to hold that over the player. But somebody would owe Ole Miss $550,000 if they signed him.
And good. And so this is what I said on the podcast last night. Good. Damon Williams in the Washington situation, good. This, good. Anytime, because, right, we talk about guardrails all the time in college football. We need guardrails. We need rules. We need structure. Buyout clauses in rev share contracts are not going to fix everything. But they can at least provide the school that loses the player last minute the way that Duke has with Mensa. They're going to get something in return.
Isn't it a big number there?
It's
like
huge.
A big number? It's a 7-figure number?
Duke's going to get a lot of money for him leaving last minute. And they're going to get that Western Carolina quarterback. And, I mean, that dude was awesome. I know it's FCS, but still. You want, as a college football fan, you want this. You want contracts that are enforceable with buyout language. You want your school, and I assume if Ole Miss has it, everybody in the SEC has it, where when you sign a player to a deal, and somebody comes in at the very end of the portal window and offers him more money, they have to compensate you for your loss. That is the first semblance of real rules and real structure and real guardrail that college football has had in 5 years. So it's not perfect. It's not preventative. Princewell's still going to go somewhere else. But at least it's punitive in some degree. If you are a legal adult and you sign a contract, you have to abide by the language in the contract that you freely signed. So the fact that there's a buyout is a great thing. Even if you lose the player, you get something in return, and ultimately that's good for college football.
So doesn't that just turn into players not wanting to sign anything until they are absolutely locked into having to sign it?
For some.
Yeah.
The super elite player has that leverage, but if you're just a role player,
yeah. But if you're a role player, that they're not making you sign like this thing where you're like they're going to publicize so much the way they did with a lot of these Ole Miss players that with Lacey and Prince Will. They were like, hey, they're coming back. They're coming back. The backup, the third string tight end's not getting that kind of rep.
But Harper, without a single start, LSU had to pay Ole Miss a pretty substantial amount of money to get him. So even a guy
I know
with
this
no
is a
starts
crazy thought. What if you just made the contract binding? And if you signed a contract with a school, you were bound to that school for that following season?
But it would have to be binding both ways, though. Would it not?
What
do you mean binding both ways?
You can't be kicked. Could you be kicked off the team? Or like processed, I guess would be the way to put it. Like, it's one thing if you break team rules or something, but
yeah, I mean, for disciplinary stuff you could, but no, you can't just go, oh, we got buyer's remorse. Sorry,
yeah, exactly.
We're not holding up. No, I mean, I'm talking about a two-way, but like you and I enter into a contract. I don't say it's related to a bet, for a season-long deal. We both signed the contract, and whichever one wins the bet, the person on the other end has to pay off the bet.
Can LSU buy me out of that? Can I get some of that? Can I get some of that buyout money, Tyler?
I mean, if the buyout comes to me, I would entertain it. Well, we could negotiate that.
It would come to SuperTalk, unfortunately. You would.
Well, then I'm out.
The schools can't legally do that, can they? Because it's not an employee-employer relationship.
Yeah, probably not.
But
I don't know.
At least there's something, right? There is something. And again, some players might not sign it, but I mean, every school has $15-ish million to spend in rev share money. Hey, player, if you want a cut of this, here's how you get your cut of this. And if you don't like it, then I will go find a replacement elsewhere. I mean, look at TJ Daugherty, for example. And maybe we got to get to the Clemson thing here in a little bit. But he didn't sign any rev share deal with Ole Miss, and that's fine. He's getting paid a crap ton of money to go to LSU. But they added a linebacker in his place who is a higher-rated player than he is. And so if you want a cut of that money, some of these guys have to take it or else they're going to get replaced.
Yeah. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away. I mean, not exactly breaking news right there. In this system, you're going to lose some guys you don't want to lose. You're going to lose some guys you don't mind losing. But you're also going to try to replace whatever you lose with somebody that is equally as good or better than that player was. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Almost all of a sudden got a bunch of running backs, it appears.
They had 0 snaps behind Lacey. You had to
add some depth there.
Needed it. I'm surprised both of them. Like, one of them makes sense from a player perspective. Like, I'll get backup snaps.
Did Mills Knight not have any snaps?
Maybe like in the Citadel game, but I'm talking about a snap in a game that actually mattered.
Sure, okay.
And
then, I wasn't nitpicking there.
No,
I was trying to remember. I mean, he played some special teams also, right? A little bit?
I think he got in late in the Citadel game, maybe.
Okay.
And then the other one, the one they're bringing in from LSU, did not play at all. So both of them coming's interesting. One makes sense because they're trying to reduce the physical impact that Lacey received, but both of them is like, why?
Sports Talk Mississippi streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. Back after this.
This portion of sports.
I listen to it at work.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Did you get that memo?
Yes, sir.
Can I throw in a question? Like, I'm just genuinely curious, your reactions, and also, if you're listening across the state of Mississippi, your reactions on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395, C Spire, customer inspired. If you're an Ole Miss fan, what do you expect your emotions to be as you watch the national championship game tonight? Or will you watch the national championship game tonight?
Hadad and I didn't debate this because I think we both agreed. I think if you're an Ole Miss fan, you want Miami to win. So, hey, no. I had a ball in the end zone.
No.
And the only team that beat me was the eventual national champion. I don't want Indiana blowing Miami out would make you look I don't know. I
totally disagree with you. I think if you're an Ole Miss fan, you want Indiana to win because if Miami wins, you're going to sit there and say, that could have been us. We could have beaten them if we had gotten there. You'll have regret. If Indiana just blows them out, you're like, all right, we would have lost anyway. It's fine.
I heard a lot of that while the Indiana-Oregon game was going on. Mm-hmm. Whew. I don't know if you wanted all that smoke anyway.
Yeah,
you did.
You definitely wanted to be there. You wanted to play that game. You wanted to have that moment, no doubt.
And I'm not convinced that Ole Miss would have suffered the same fate to Indiana that Oregon did. I mean, you look at Indiana, and there were a couple of games this year where they didn't have a ton of success offensively. And they didn't give up a whole lot much of the year, but Ole Miss scored on everybody they played this year. So I don't think there's any reason to think that they wouldn't have against Indiana also.
Man, I guess we don't agree. A total difference in mindset. I would rather lose to the best team. If I have to lose to anybody, it's to the absolute best.
Yeah, I would not want to look at it and go, if we could have just won that game, we would have won.
Miami was better, though. So,
they were better on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ole Miss played its best game either. And yet still found a way to be in it at the very end of the game.
Matt says Miami to win hands down. I'm pulling for Miami as an Ole Miss fan. I think you're an Ole Miss fan. You definitely want Miami to win. Ole Miss would be the clear number 2. I've got regrets either way. That being said, I'm pulling for Miami. Another one, I want Indiana to steamroll. So there's the exact opposite there as well.
I would say there are a lot of people that were at the game in Phoenix that had some interactions with the Miami contingent that was there at the game that would be more than happy to see those people go home sad tonight. I think I said that just as gently as I possibly could say that.
It's an NFL fan base that if you've ever been to an NFL game, Miami, like the college fans, act like NFL fans. More or less.
Yeah.
Among other things.
Like, after... And the two fan bases are pretty aligned, but after the Sugar Bowl, the Georgia fans that went out, everybody I talked to was like, yeah, Georgia fans were great. They were sad, but it was all good.
Borkey, you nailed it. I mean, people are one side or the other on this. I want Miami to stomp them, and I don't want the Big Ten to win a national championship. Indiana all the way. Ole Miss fan hoping Indiana beats the brakes off Miami. If Miami wins, you are screwed out of a title. That will be the talk.
Miami was better that night.
They were.
The correct team won the game. That doesn't always happen, but that happened that night.
I do hate the conversation after the fact of you don't make that call on the final play of the game. if you make the call for 59 minutes and 45 seconds, why is the last 15 seconds different? That's about as intelligent as the people going, well, it was a Hail Mary.
You're firing off a tweet, and I'm sitting there, my mentions are just filling up with garbage. I was just like, why am I involved in this?
Because you, Brian Hadad, are the ultimate, the referees or blah, blah, blah guy. And so I just thought I'd tag you in it. And
I had to mute your tweet.
That.
I was like, I'm not listening to this conversation.
Speaking of refs, we might get to winners and losers. Did you see the interception in the Bills-Broncos game and how that was called? And then the exact same thing happened last night, and it was called the opposite. The same thing called two different ways.
Yeah.
And the TV ref defended both of them.
Oh, man.
I saw a tweet last night that said, let's go to Gene Steratore, who knows absolutely nothing about this.
Yeah.
Terry McCauley, though, he was all over the other side.
Yeah.
In the one before it.
Such is life. We'll do that when we come back. Winners and losers here on Sports Talk Mississippi. It's a Monday. It's Brian Hadad. It's Michael Borkey. It's Richard Cross. It's you guys in the Pearl River Resort Studio. And, of course, hit us up on the C Spire text line with your winners and losers. 601-879-4395. Back in just a minute.
Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah! On Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi. It's a Monday. It's Brian Hadad. It's Richard Cross. It's Michael Borkey. It's as life intended. It's as it should be. The new year has started. This is our first time to have Richard on the show in the new year, so I'm excited for him to hear.
It's the 19th.
I know. Well, that's beside the point. I'm excited to hear what he has to say when I tell him that he can start the new year with a compact tractor that's a proven performer and get a great deal. You can get it at Ag Up Equipment. Right now, you get 0% financing for 48 months on select John Deere 1 through 4 series compact tractors. You can't beat these workhorses or the 0% financing. Stop by your local Ag Up or visit them at agup.com. Your down-home dealer. Offer ends 1/30/126. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. It's Monday. It's 4 o'clock. It's time for winners and losers.
File's still corrupted, so all I do is win no matter what.
We got to stop this. It takes 5 seconds.
No, it's a corrupted file. There's nothing that I can do about the corrupted file in the system. So we have to. I mean, yeah, we can. Hey, would you like to make it? Would you like to take the 4 hours
you don't think
to make
Will
it
East
new?
has the original saved
we gotta
on a
have it
computer
saved
somewhere?
I've looked for it. We're going to find it, but for right now,
does that mean for the college football fix? Does that mean?
No, I'll just play it off of. Play it off of here.
I have to get upset.
Anyway,
let's go with Michael Borkey. He's chomping at the bit. What you got over there?
I know that he got hurt, and it's extremely unfortunate. And now we have to watch Jarrett Stidham in a conference championship game.
Stiddy, I believe they called him.
But there was times when Bo Nix was playing quarterback at Auburn where you thought that he was throwing with the wrong arm. And it's like, maybe he's a lefty and he just hasn't figured that out yet. To go from the butt end of jokes, and even when he was drafted, remember, people were like, oh, Bo Nix, he's awful. To outduel Josh Allen in a playoff game and lead his team to a win, his arc as a quarterback is awesome. I mean, it's a really good story. He was a scapegoat for failures at Auburn, reinvented himself at Oregon and played well, gets drafted by a really good quarterback coach in Sean Payton, puts him in the right system. And again, he outdueled Josh Allen with no running game to speak of at all. None. Had to do it on his own, and also his defense created a bunch of turnovers, but still, he was great. And it's a shame that he's not going to get the opportunity to lead his team to a Super Bowl because of a second to last play of the game ankle injury that requires surgery. It's a complete bummer, but man, he proved himself.
Very good. What do you got there, Richard Cross?
That actually is the direction I was going to go. I was going to start with Bo Nix and what he's kind of accomplished, and kind of a winner and a loser rolled into one there. But I am happy to pivot. I do have a loser that's in the queue that, you want to talk about just making life more complicated than it has to be. We've got a pretty good story there.
Okay.
But it's low-hanging fruit. Chris Beard and the Ole Miss basketball team, winners of 3 in a row in the SEC. After an 0-2 start and the way they went through non-conference play, it felt like basketball was very, very quickly becoming a short placeholder for the start of the college baseball season. When football goes as long as it did for Ole Miss, you blink and baseball's here. We're less than a month away from the start of the season, and now all of a sudden that is not the case. The home win against Missouri, the road win against Georgia, the road win against Mississippi State, and now you're coming back home for a late tip Tuesday night game with the students back in town, and Auburn rolling in, and it's an Auburn team that's been up and down so far with the first-year head coach in Stephen Pearl, son of Bruce Pearl, and there's some interest in Ole Miss basketball. And, man, the hill for Ole Miss to climb is long and is steep and is rocky if they were to find themselves, even in the conversation, not just but in the conversation for the NCAA tournament. But what seemed like a complete afterthought is now, well, how many wins have you got to get in SEC play? What does that look like? What does your schedule look like? What do you have to do at home? How many do you have to steal on the road? And so that conversation being real, I think, is a win for this Ole Miss basketball team that just a couple of weeks ago looked like they had been already tossed onto the trash heap.
Yeah. I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you 100%. Let's go back to the NFL for my winner. But he's a guy who lost the game. But I think Caleb Williams may have made the best throw I've ever seen. I don't remember a play like that. A 14-yard touchdown pass that went 50 yards in the air. You don't see that very often. This is the next guy in the NFL. As Mahomes and Allen and those guys continue, to get older in their careers, Caleb Williams is the next guy. And, he took a lot of heat. He doesn't look or act like a maybe a traditional football player or what we think a traditional football player should do. But he can play football, man, and he is as good as it gets, and he's just going to get better each and every week. And this was a tremendous season for the Chicago Bears. Got to think they'll be one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl next year. Really enjoyed that, and that play, back-to-back weeks, he may have had one of the most clutch plays of all time, and he did it in 2 straight games.
And that final drive. It was there were like 3 plays in there where you're like, ooh, they're going to do it again. Oh, man, how do you miss that? And then the miraculous throw at the end. Mm-hmm. He really didn't run the entire game.
No,
trying to keep him healthy, trying to keep him upright. Yeah. And then when he had to have that first down, he went and took a defensive player head on. He got the first down. The second down throw that would have given them a first down inside the 10-yard line on just a little simple out route where he missed the receiver by like 10 feet. You're like, what are you doing? Mm. That is a hand it to the guy. He steps out of bounds and it's a first down. And he just missed it. You're like, what is that? And then the throw. I mean, it kind of reminded you of freshman year Oklahoma, Caleb Williams, when he looked like he could do no wrong. Right. Not the Caleb Williams that you saw at Southern Cal, but the one.
Well, I mean, the Heisman Trophy winner was at Southern Cal, and that's what he looked like. So just crazy. Back-to-back weeks to have throws like that, that's exciting. So
the weather aesthetic was incredible as well. In
both games, and even in New England.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I love it when there's enough snow that it makes me wonder if the HD's not working on the TV. Like, is it staticky? What's going on? Oh, it's just the snow. That's what I want.
When the game with the Bears and the Rams started, Jane goes, wait, I thought that game ended already. I was like, no. That was the New England game in Boston with it snowing. She's like, oh, it's snowing in Chicago too? I'm like, yep, it's snowing in Chicago too.
I think the best football weather to me is snow, but not enough to where it impacts quality of play.
Right, it's just snowing.
It's just snowing.
It's not a blizzard. Yeah.
Hey, Dad, you would have liked Francis last night. We were talking. She goes, I wouldn't want to be out there in that. I was like, well, we could bundle you up in your ski clothes and put a toboggan on. If you're dressed right for it. She goes, you could just get us a box, Daddy.
Yeah. She knows.
I was like, oh, from the mouth of babes.
Ah.
You child.
Good stuff, Francis.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's a loser, and I like him.
Oh.
I like him a lot. And I liked the way he carried himself after the game in the press conference and all of that. But, man, here was your chance. You've been living in Patrick Mahomes' shadow this whole time, but you've had an awesome career. And, I mean, one of the interceptions is not his fault necessarily. But when you turn it over 4 times, including one of the stupidest fumbles that you could see in a professional football game, I mean, how on earth in that spot right before the half you are carrying the football like a loaf of freshly baked artisan bread or something and just cough it up and gift the Broncos 3 points? It's just stupid. And here was your chance to not cement a legacy. He's a young guy. He'll get another chance. But your first playoff without having to deal with Mahomes. And you coughed the football up 5 times. You're lucky to recover one. But you coughed the football up a bunch and you cost your team that game. That was brutal to watch. And, man, I had somebody say to me, just we were talking, he's like, is he the modern-day Jim Kelly? And I was like, oh, don't put that evil on him.
Ooh.
But
it's tough.
That was a I'm never going to win a Super Bowl performance.
Jim Kelly got to the Super Bowl 4 times.
He did.
Yeah. Josh Allen, never been.
2 AFC championship games,
wow.
Multiple divisional rounds.
If we're going to go with Allen, you got to go C.J. Stroud as well. Maybe the worst. I said 2 of the best throws for Caleb Williams. The pick 6 might be the worst throw in NFL history. No business. Just eat the ball, take the sack, go to the next play. Awful. Just awful. Complete deer in headlights. I mean, they should have, based on quarterback play, they should have never gotten past Pittsburgh. He had 10 turnovers, I believe, or 8 turnovers in 2 games. How does that even happen?
No bueno.
And Aikman was right. I mean, remember how awesome he was as a rookie? He's regressed.
He's gotten worse, yeah. They had a legit conversation about should the Texans go to Davis Mills here in the second half. Never good.
I don't know if they're winners or losers, but the students that camped out outside of bars in Bloomington, Indiana, overnight when it was 4 degrees, they're either the best of us or the worst of us. I'm not sure which, but there's something.
Ace Bowl. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Do we have any more winners or losers in the hopper? Or can we move on to the C Spire text line?
Let's do that.
I got a loser.
Oh, yeah.
I got a loser.
Entirely too long of an intro for that song there. That's okay.
You got to start that a little.
Got to cut that one a little bit differently. That's okay.
For the last 2 days, leaders in the college football space have been meeting in Miami to talk about the future of the college football playoff. ESPN has said they will not extend the deadline again for a possible expansion of the college football playoff beyond Friday of this week, I believe it is. And it appears that the SEC and the Big Ten are still at odds over the format. The Big Ten is okay with going to 16 teams in the short term as long as the SEC will agree to a 24-team tournament starting in 3 years. And even those of us who are like, yeah, give me more college football, I don't think we're necessarily on board with the idea of 24. 24 would be what the FCS does. And they make it work, but that would mean the elimination of the conference championship games. We have made this far, far too complicated.
It's ridiculous.
play the championship games, the conference championship games, the first weekend in December. The next week, so the second weekend in December, play the 8 first-round games. Go to 16 teams and play 8 first-round games at home. The week after that, play the quarterfinals with the higher seed hosting games on campus. I would argue play the semifinals that way too, but there are a lot of people that push back on that. I don't care. Play the semifinals wherever, and then play the championship game either on January 1st or very close to it. And if you got to move the season up a week, where you play, the last 2 weekends of August, so that you can play the national championship game on January 1st or January 2nd, just do it.
Yeah,
it's not that complicated. And yet, goodness gracious, have we made it complicated? And the one more complication that has been thrown into the mix is a looming executive order from the Office of the President of the United States declaring that Army-Navy is going to get a standalone television slot by executive order in which no other game can be played during that particular window.
Glad we're taking care of the real problems in this country.
No word yet as to whether or not there is going to be an executive order that the championship game must be played in Greenland.
They probably have a football field there. They play soccer.
It's called ice.
Yeah.
Well, you put the heat coils underneath.
They're in Minnesota.
Under turf.
Oh, hey, Dad. Well played.
There's also a phenomenon, and especially because the suits, all they care about is ratings and money, right? And ratings interest me just as a general principle, but I don't care. Like, I don't live and die by, well, this is good for ratings or bad for ratings. But what college football is running into, when the NFL playoffs start, interest wanes in the college football postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Because the casual football fan would rather, generally speaking, I know here in Mississippi it's different, but nationally, the casual football fan is more interested in the NFL playoffs than the college football playoffs. The numbers bear that out. The later you get in the playoffs, the worse the ratings get. Worse being a relative term. They're still very good. But they're not as good as they should be because they're going on during the NFL playoffs. That's a problem for it, too. So, yeah, start the season earlier. Get to the playoffs faster. Next year's national championship game is a week later than this one.
25th of January next year.
It's a week later.
It's ridiculous.
Who wants that? So create space for yourself in this as well. But yeah, who's asking for 24? Besides the Big Ten, I'm talking about fans. Who wants 24? Does anybody really?
I wouldn't be mad if they did it because I think it would be a lot of fun.
I'd rather 12.
You would have 16 teams play the opening weekend in 8 games, and then you would have the 8 highest seeds play the winners of those games in the second round and advance from there. I mean, the FCS playoff is really, really good. And it finished on January 2nd, right? January 2nd or January 3rd? Played in Nashville this year.
Yeah, good crowd, too, at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Vanderbilt Stadium anymore. Whatever the corporation.
First Bank, I think.
First, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. They did a nice job. It looks good.
It looked great. It's a fun game, too. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous that the Big Ten and the SEC are at that kind of – and Mark Keenum gave a quote today that was like, just because, the deadline wasn't this weekend, there's still time. Man, if Petitti's got his heels dug in on 24, there's no more time. We'll revisit this next year. Don't even sit at the table with that kind of discussion right now. There's no reason for that.
Yep.
All right, to the text line we go. Winners, America, because the PGA Tour is back. The NFL divisional round delivered once again. Losers, Brandon Beane, that loss yesterday in Denver because of your terrible free agent signing history and draft history, you bum. Sean McDermott, because he's this generation's Marty Schottenheimer.
We need more people being called bums. Bum is a great insult.
Dwight says loser. Josh Hubbard, choke job down the stretch.
Dwight, you're wrong about something, though. I checked. A friend of mine let me know. Alcorn State University is in Claiborne County. I was right.
He fact-checked you incorrectly?
Yes.
How dare he? How dare
Google it.
Win for Mississippi State women taking down number 7 Kentucky.
That was a good win yesterday for Sam Purcell.
Wait, Lorman is in Jefferson County.
The campus is in. I'm telling you, I got it. I looked it up. It's in Claiborne.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a friend reach out to me. He's like, I heard this on the podcast. Alcorn is in Claiborne County.
Okay.
Somebody, by the way, says, bring back BCS, quote me. No. What? You can't just make up things like that. I'm anti-BCS. I'm just anti-24 teams. Yeah, we needed Duke in the playoffs. Sure. Yeah.
They were the ACC champion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. That's what we needed. We needed Duke in the playoff. For sure. Like, last year and this year proves that expanding to 12 was the right call. It was the right decision.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, next year is when Notre Dame's preferential treatment begins. Good job, Greg. Most powerful man in college sports agreed to give Notre Dame preferential treatment. Good job, man. Great job. John says start calling Josh Allen Marino. Ooh.
It's tough. But, I mean, again, Marino made a Super Bowl.
He did.
Yeah.
Why not just go back to 8? Because you're not putting that toothpaste back in the tube.
No.
Loser Davis Riley, sadly. Yes, unfortunate. Recurring guest of Sports Talk Mississippi, Davis Riley from Hattiesburg. Had, what was it, a 3-shot lead early in the final round of the first PGA Tour event yesterday, and went
saw that.
4 over in his next 3 holes and ultimately couldn't win. That was hard to watch. I had football on my TV, and the second I saw Riley take the lead, I pulled the golf up on my iPad. Probably my fault. I pulled it up when he took the lead and then immediately, unfortunately, lost said lead.
The main campus of Alcorn is located on 1,700 acres in Claiborne County, 7 miles west of Lorman, 17 miles southwest of Port Gibson.
I mean, I wasn't making it up.
Oh, no, I just was trying to figure it out. So Lorman proper is in Jefferson County, but the campus itself is in Claiborne County.
Boom.
No.
Accidentally stumbled upon campus there visiting, oh gosh darn it, what was it called? So it was the Windsor Ruins and then the abandoned town in that same area.
I know what you're talking about.
And just we're driving back roads trying to get back to the main road. I didn't want to, my phone wasn't working, so I couldn't pull up GPS, and then went through like this winding back road that was a back access point to the campus there at Alcorn. It wasn't like a main road into campus. It was like some kind of service road that I found myself on, and boop, popped right out on the campus there at Alcorn. That's the only time that I've been there, but I enjoyed it. I mean, beautiful campus.
Yeah.
And I learned what county it was in today.
There you go.
You're still getting well, actually, on the text line, by the way.
I'm correct.
I mean, I went to the Alcorn State University official website.
Yeah.
Rodney, yes, the town of Rodney. There were some hunting camps in town, though, so it's not abandoned anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Boy, one guy's name just keeps popping up here on the loser list. I'll let you handle that if you want to, though.
We are a radio program with a website, but we do not have a message board, and therefore we will refrain from any site wars conversation.
Very good.
Fair enough?
No need to delete my Twitter account then. Good.
All guests on Sports Talk Mississippi appear on the Farm Bureau guest line. You'll have plenty of those throughout the course of the week. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. Mike in Oxford says Alcorn is in Lorman like the Giants and the Jets are in New York.
Yeah.
Good point. Sports Talk Mississippi back with you right after this.
At Key Constructors.
Hey guys, what happened? What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
America released their preseason top 25. We'll get to that tomorrow. It's more sensical, I think, than the one we went over the other day, Hadad. A little bit more favorable to everybody here in the state of Mississippi. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. That does include Mississippi State, by the way.
Yeah.
A little bit more high on them than others. Jacob Rudner, recurring guest, stealing that from Pardon My Take, of the show, had Ole Miss and State in the 8 for Omaha for this year. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
But there is a national champion to be crowned tonight in college football. As we've talked about and as you guys know by now, Indiana is set to break a trend if they can win tonight, and that is being the first team not in the blue chip index to win a national championship, and the first team in the recruiting rankings era anyway to not have at least 2 top 10 classes in the 4 years leading up to their national championship win. They are quite the story. They've been a wagon in the postseason, and is it crazy to say? It might be crazy. Very sports talk radio guy. If Cignetti wins this game tonight, he is 1 in ranking college football coaches in the country.
Yeah. No, that's completely fair. Completely fair. Because since, the NIL transfer portal era really began, you look at Kirby's 2 national titles, kind of at the beginning of that, right? We weren't where we are now. This is the new era of college football, and Cignetti has taken a program that was less than nothing, had no history, no tradition, no anything, turned them into the national champions.
Losingest program in the history of college football.
And turned them into the national champions. Yes, you can absolutely make that argument.
And it's not like, I know Cuban's involved now and stuff, but it's not like they got $40 million and the governor got involved and stuff like what you're seeing at other places. He's got a bunch of dudes that weren't highly recruited. What is it, 13 James Madison players on his roster? I think it's 13, right? 13 or 14 James Madison players on his roster. And a bunch of guys that, could have gone elsewhere, I suppose. But there's no number 1 portal class filled with super elite prospects that a billionaire stepped in and bought for him.
Right.
This was done with evaluations and, evaluations. This was done through good evaluations, not some influx of money that bought the best roster in college football.
In terms of the blue chip ratio, Indiana is 48th, or they were 48th coming into the year.
That's nuts.
8% of their roster is made up of 4- and 5-star players.
And they're going to probably win it. And not only are they, when they win it, they've been dominant in this postseason against Alabama and Oregon, 2 elite recruiters. And they beat Ohio State, elite recruiting team.
Doesn't even matter if they win it tonight. What they've done is unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they're not Cinderella because they're from the Big Ten. A Big Ten team can't be Cinderella, regardless of their history and all that. But they're as close to it that we've ever seen in college football getting to this point. Yeah,
you've heard a lot of. Sorry, you're just going to say you've heard a lot of people point to there. How is it that Indiana has done it? Because they don't have the elite players on the roster. Although, if you watched closely, Fernando Mendoza in the semifinal game against Oregon, some of the throws he made looked pretty elite. But there are a bunch of people that have pointed out they do the little things that you are supposed to do over and over and over and over and over well. Somebody pointed out you may have seen Curt Cignetti's face. There was a team that was trying to get them to jump off sides on like a 4th and 3 or whatever. And they're barking signals and not even a flinch from anybody. And they cut to Cignetti's face and he's like, come on, what do you think, we're stupid?
Yeah.
It's hard to picture a team that has been more prepared at every level than they have been. And look, they could lose tonight. Miami's got supreme athletes on both lines of scrimmage. And offense that's a little bit more explosive and so on and so forth. But mean, we made the jokes because there's a conspiracy that they're tapping into the video and stuff, but they're just prepared. It's things like that. Their penalty numbers. That's not. You can't cheat to good penalty numbers. That's just being disciplined and prepared. And that's what they are.
But is this right? Somebody said they saw today if Indiana wins tonight, they will have won more bowl games in this playoff run than in their entire history combined.
I mean, I'll believe that.
Would be 3, right?
3, yeah.
Huh.
Indiana has 5 bowl wins.
But 2 are in
2
this
are
run.
now.
Yeah, so they had 2 coming in. Well, they had 3 coming in, so yeah. So they would be at, yeah.
They would tie
their record,
bowl
yeah.
wins.
Wow.
And that's saying something.
I mean, listen, they are 5-11. That includes 2 this year. So they're 3-11 in bowl games as a program.
Mm-hmm.
Does Indiana have staying power? Doesn't matter.
I think
it's only
Signetti
about this
has
year.
Staying power.
Yes. Signetti has staying power. Now they got Cuban backing them too, so you're probably going to start seeing a little bit more influx of a little bit higher caliber of player also.
It's a massive fan base. It is a wealthy fan base, as much of the Big Ten seems to be.
Yeah, there's a stupid thing that the online discourse says, Indiana doesn't have any fans. Look at this crowd shot from 2021.
No, they were terrible, and they didn't care.
They didn't care, yeah.
They exist.
I remember
out there,
reading a story about Curt Signetti early on. Like, Indiana used to not... What is this? Was it a spring game that they didn't have because there was some sort of a bicycle race on campus or something like that? And Signetti was like, I don't care. We're having a spring game. Now, I understand that spring games have kind of gone away and will be interesting to see if they come back or not. But it was little things. It was like there was some, bicycle festival party on campus, and it was a bigger deal than having a spring game, and they needed the football stadium for part of that. He was like, it's our football stadium.
Yeah.
Having a bike race in here. We're playing a spring game in here. You got a bike race after if you want to.
Sometimes it takes a little kick in the rear end to realize your potential.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in this era, man. I mean, if you're a good evaluator, we keep saying this, it does not matter anymore where you are. It matters what you are. 10, 15, 20 years ago in college football, man, it took a lot to change your tier. Now there's not really any tiers. Especially if Indiana wins the national championship. The tiers are gone. All that matters is what you are. And that's awesome, ultimately. The money is ridiculous and all that stuff, but man, that is awesome. And it sends a message to everybody, including those right here in the state of Mississippi, that if you are right, you can do that.
Yeah.
And there's proof in the concept. Ole Miss had a ball in the air to win, to play in this game. It's not. You don't have to stretch your mind anymore. You don't have to settle for, at least we get to go to the Music City Bowl. How great of a season we had. No.
Did last year have to happen at Indiana for this year to be able to happen? To start 10-0, to lose to Ohio State, to finish 11-1, to get to the playoff, but have it be a road game at Notre Dame? Did they have to go through that one time and not advance to get to a spot where they were ready to make this run this year?
Yes, I think that's true. Like I talk about the NFL all the time. Like very rarely, this thing that happened with the Patriots with Drake May, it feels like they're a little early, right? And they're probably going to get to the Super Bowl because Nix is out. They're early. Yeah, I think everybody needs to go through it and lose one time before they can win. Very rarely do you see a first-time national champion that hasn't been on that stage before.
Goes to show you, too, the value of a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, that helps.
I mean, Mendoza's not like elite as a thrower of the football or an athlete or anything, but listen to him talk. Again, the internet thinks he's cheesy or whatever, but listen to that guy. If I was his teammate, I would do anything he asked of me. Hey, late night throwing session? Yes, I'll be there. Fernando, absolutely. I would do anything for a guy to play for a guy like that. So not only is he smart and makes good decisions, but as a leader, which is what the quarterback is supposed to be, could you imagine how easy it would be to be inspired by that guy and play well for that guy? That matters.
Certainly does. Certainly does.
Oh, but he's too cheesy or whatever.
But hey, Matt, on your New England example, I tend to agree with you. You don't see it very often. But if they catch the break and beat the Broncos with Stidham instead of Nix playing quarterback, it's not like that's a lopsided matchup, whether it's Seattle or
I'm just saying that even getting to that
it?
point, though, is that they're a little ahead of schedule.
Yeah. You're right. Which is not necessarily good news for the rest of the NFL. Probably doesn't hurt that they have a coach that went through the success of New England in the previous iteration. Sports Talk Mississippi will wrap up the 4 o'clock hour with you on the other side of this timeout. We're coming to you from the Pearl River Resort Studios. Visit them online at pearlriverresort.com. Sportsbook at Timeout Lounge wouldn't be a bad place to watch a ball game tonight.
Ace,
Okay, let's go.
To the junction, in the groove, and to the top.
Don't hurt yourself.
Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
We got a pick, by the way. We got to do as the portal turns. And there's a lot to unpack with as the portal turns. So who's going to win tonight? Nobody giving Miami a chance, by the way. Nobody.
Oh, that includes this guy. I think Indiana will roll.
They may, but I am absolutely giving Miami a chance after watching that road grader of an offensive line last week and that disruptive defensive line. Absolutely giving them a chance. What's the crowd going to be?
75% red? Yeah. The players are taking the field for warm-ups, and it certainly does not look like a Miami home game, despite it being their own stadium.
I think I saw a second ago that the wait to the last minute to buy tickets crowd was not faring very well, that the get-in-the-door price had risen to, was it $4,000? Day of the game? I mean, maybe there's what is it, Game Time? I'll pull up the Game Time app. That's the last-minute tickets and see what the cheapest ticket is to get in.
I get that we have to bow down to corporations at every turn. I mean, like we talked about, it affected both teams, but the field at the Fiesta Bowl is a joke, and it's always been a joke. That game is always played on a bad surface. Always. It is always bad. But we got to play it there because that's what the suits want. You know what this game should be? A stadium divided 50-50, and the way the tickets are distributed is however the school chooses to. If you want to give it to your season ticket holders, whatever. But it should not be, oh, you get an allotment of 14,000 and you get 14,000 and the other 50,000 seats in the stadium are going to go to whatever corporation is running ads during the game. Well, we bow down to the suits for literally everything else in this sport. Can the fans just not have to take out a second mortgage to go see their team play for a title?
I'm glad you asked because the answer is no.
The answer is no. Always no.
$3,854 appears to be the cheapest ticket available.
Well, you could just get us a box, Richard.
Each team gets 20,000 tickets for the national championship game. So, what, seats 63,000? Is that right?
Something like that.
Not sure exactly what the Hard Rock Stadium seats. Oh, come on. It should be right there. I don't know. I think it's 63,000. So 40 of the 63,000 were allotted.
326.
Okay. They put, this was pre-expansion. They put 80,000 in there for the 2013 BCS championship game.
How do you come up with 65,236? Like, can't you just have a nice round number?
I don't know.
65,000. Because that's exactly how many seats are in there.
I mean,
so you got 40,000 to the schools and 25,000 that are CFP did a lottery that allowed some people to buy tickets way back before the season started. Some of them go to corporate interests, some of them local sponsors. I don't think it's going to have a corporate feel to it, though, tonight.
No, I mean, look at these pregame shots. There are so many Indiana fans there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know a few.
I lost the World Cup lottery, so I didn't even win the opportunity to buy $1,000 worst seat in the house tickets. That's how much of a loser I am. I lost the lottery to buy the 4-figure tickets to sit in the very last row of a group stage game.
I mean, we're all talking about the price of the secondary market, right? I mean, that's, if you can't get tickets through the school, and obviously, through the school priority ticket. But if you bought I'm not talking about like a suite, but if you just brought like the first or second level, like the good tickets that were available through the school, it was $1,500 a ticket.
Yeah.
If my family of 5 had gone to that game and had Ole Miss won, we had planned to go to the game. Had travel booked and hotel and all of those things. Just the tickets, $7,500. And that's at face value. Can you imagine trying to take a family of 4 or a family of 5 on the secondary market? And you're like, I really don't want to sit in the upper deck. Well, okay, it'll be $7,000 a ticket.
Yeah. It's a bit much.
A bit?
Just a bit.
I mean, it makes those $250 tickets you paid for in Omaha to watch Mississippi State or Ole Miss win a national champion feel like they were downright cheap.
Some out of text line. So thanks for jinxing the Rebels, Cross.
Yeah, like I'm the only one that had booked plane. I actually wanted to get there if they got there.
Yeah.
We did find out after the fact that the hotel we booked, we were going to have to change it. It was the Indiana team hotel.
Oh, you wouldn't want any part of that, no.
Would not have wanted any part of that.
Nah.
Hour and 51 minutes until kickoff.
Well, supposedly.
That actually is probably a correct number. They say 6:30.
Well,
that would be 6:50.
Somebody at 4:50 said they put 2 hours on the clock. So
yeah,
6:50.
Okay.
There you go. Not too bad. You can have a pizza.
Yeah.
Put your comfy clothes on and watch some football. We got to talk
will
about.
Chris Fowler be better tonight?
Let's hope.
We will talk about football, the portal variety, the daily segment as the portal turns, and there's a lot to get to with that, and we'll do that after the news.
Your home sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sounds good.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
You threw me off. It happened. Sports Talk Mississippi. Brian Hadad, Michael Borkey, Richard Cross.
Journey coming to Mississippi, by the way. I guess they're doing a farewell tour, and they'll be here for it this summer.
Pulled some strings to make sure that Mississippi got one show on the farewell tour. He didn't want to travel too far.
Got to have a time to wear that jacket.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Have you not seen Gerard's Journey jacket?
I've seen it. Seen the T-shirt, too.
There you go.
5 o'clock means time for the college football fix. All right. We can all breathe easy. Go ahead, Richard. I'll let you have it.
College Football Fix is driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealers. Log on to buyfordnow.com and find out why the best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. 49 straight years. F-Series, the number one selling trucks in America. Test drive one at your local Mississippi Ford dealer today.
All right, you know the drill by now. 5 o'clock this time of year is as the portal turns. Hey, Dad, more to get to with Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And there's some nuanced conversations about a linebacker in particular we'll get to. So let's start with State, a bit more of a concise wrap-up of the weekend in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, literally no addition since we last met on Friday. The biggest news, as Robbie Falk reported on the Thunder and Lightning podcast and on 3, is that Mississippi State tackle Javen James, seemingly put out a little bit by the pursuit of Jordan Seaton and Miles McVay, has decided, he believes he is going to enter the portal. It's kind of one of those things where I think it's sort of similar to the Caden Lee thing. Like, he's in and we'll see where it goes. He could come back. I don't know. That would be a big blow for State if they don't get Seaton to also lose James. You're talking about putting a player who may have never played before at left tackle next year with Camario Taylor's first season. So that's really the only portal news from the Mississippi State perspective. They are still on Seaton watch, as is LSU and Miami and Oregon and possibly some more schools, as being reported today, I think, by Pete Nakos. Is that Nakos who had that report?
It is. Yeah. That after Oregon, he could be headed to Oxford or Austin.
So,
or maybe both. Well,
I mean, if you're getting paid to visit, man, take all you can. Get everything you can out of it. I can't fault the hustle on that.
And, hey, that isn't the truth. He's either declared that he's in the portal or not. It's about paperwork being filed by the school at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
So very simple.
Yeah.
And so let's get to the simple with Ole Miss. Just the guys that they have picked up along the way this weekend. Jonte Cook is the first one. That is the second, what I would assume is a slot receiver that Ole Miss has added via transfer portal. Hey, I'd mentioned the Caden Lee news. If he does not return, a lot of people think at this point, especially after his goodbye letter did not acknowledge that he could return, most people are connecting the dots, him to Missouri to play with very good friend Austin Simmons. And again, Ole Miss has they're not going to get caught with their pants down if Caden Lee decides to end up going to Missouri. Second slot that they've added.
Jonte Cook from Syracuse, and before that at Texas, right?
Former 5-star is what he was in recruiting. So they added him at wide receiver.
Wait, do they reassign stars during this process? Or
they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. The next one was an interesting one. Michael Smith, the tight end from South Carolina. They were not in desperate need of a tight end. I don't think this is a high-dollar purchase, if that makes sense. They already, I would assume, liked what they had returning in the room despite losing Daquan Wright with Haz and Odom there. But they needed another one, and they got one with the former blue-chip recruit. He's a 3-star transfer. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school at South Carolina. I think this is one of those, you needed a body in the room, and if he contributes to his talent ceiling, then great. But if not, you're not desperate at the position. So one of those, I hadn't heard his name until he committed type signings, and we'll see if he works out. But they are pretty stable at the room, so I don't know how many snaps he's going to get this year. We will have to see. The next one, Joshua Dye, the running back from, you have to name that mascot, Southern Utah. Southern Utah, name that mascot.
I don't know that one.
I did the Southern Utah game against Utah.
You did?
Not this season, but last year.
Yeah. What was it?
I don't know.
It's a car.
Mustangs?
The Thunderbirds of Southern Utah.
That's right.
The Thunderbirds. An interesting running back. He's 5'11", just over 200 pounds. Obviously very different levels, but he ran for 1,800 yards on 6.5 yards per carry this past season. And they also added at running back Mekhi Frazier from Michigan State, who's a 4-star transfer, ran for over 500 yards for Michigan State this year. And so you might be wondering, wait a minute, why? Why are they adding running backs? They have Kewan Lacey. 2 reasons. The first is, if you look at what they had behind Kewan Lacey, not a single meaningful snap. You had Mills Knight, who's been in your program, but they're still coming along. Played very, very, very sparingly. Did not take a single meaningful snap last year. You brought in a transfer from LSU who did not play in a single game last year. So you've got Kewan Lacey and then 0 experience. Can't have that in your running back room. You have to add experience behind Lacey. So that's number one. Just you need bodies in the room that have played college football. And 2, I do think it's obvious that there's going to be an effort to reduce Kewan Lacey's carries. And people on Twitter didn't quite understand this. I don't mean in the big games. They don't want to take Kewan Lacey off the field when it matters, but Kewan Lacey does not need to be taking hits late in the third quarter against the Citadel. That doesn't need to happen again.
He's getting 25 carries on September 19th.
Yes. he will get every carry. Unless his helmet falls off and he has to go to the sideline and somebody else can get a carry, then he'll go back in. He's an elite back, but they need to protect him a little bit better than they did this past season. He got way too many carries in games that were decided, and he's still in the game. So you need experience, and you need the reduction of wear on the tires of your elite running back. And then finally, Hadad, I think you're going to like this one, and I think I'm saying his name correctly. Enoch Wangoy. Sorry, young man. I will learn your name. I promise. I will learn your name. I promise.
There's no way that's correct.
Enoch.
I think the Bible would tell us that's Enoch.
Enoch. Yeah. Sorry. Wangoy. Wangoy.
Everybody wang on tonight.
He is an offensive tackle, and he's transferring in from Florida State. Florida. Excuse me.
With Enoch. That's awesome. I love it. We should go with that.
I mean, it's no worse than Quanzo Martin, no. I promise you.
But he's transferring from Florida.
Yeah.
And this will be his fourth year playing organized football. He is from England.
Oh.
He's from England. And he actually played in the FIBA, so that's basketball. U18 European Championship in 2022. He's a former basketball player. Mm-hmm. He also played soccer and rugby.
Wow.
And he moved to the States in 2023, played high school football in Jacksonville in 2023. So this is season 4 of his life playing.
I didn't know his team. Where is he from in England?
Manchester.
Oh, I got to know. You got to find out for me. One of you
City or you?
City or United. Or maybe, he could have one of the smaller teams. You never know.
Manchester, England is where he's from, but has not played yet in the SEC. But apparently the athleticism is just absolutely off the charts. I was reading some Florida.
Know he played basketball at 6'7", 330, Borkey? Or was he lighter than that at that point?
Maybe in the U18 FIBA European Championship, he was a little bit lighter than 330. But some Florida people were talking about just, they think that down the road they're going to miss him simply because the athleticism apparently is just off the charts. He's very, very new to football. So I don't know whether or not they expect him to start and play for this team this year. But he is a very interesting prospect. And a guy that's barely played any football, but is a supreme athlete and has the size for it. So they still need to add offensive tackle. They're working on that. They need to add an offensive tackle from somewhere. That is the position of utmost desperate need for this team, because I don't think this guy answers that. He hasn't taken a snap yet in college. But that is your smooth portal update from Ole Miss. But we have one more player to talk about in a situation that is a little less smooth. People from back in my home state are actually not too pleased about what has gone down with Ole Miss's newest linebacker. So we will tell you about him when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, that is your college football fix, driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealer. We'll be back.
Before your heat,
take the friggin' wax out of your ear. Did you hear me?
This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Woo! What do you say, sports fans?
Now, here's more on Super Talk Mississippi.
No, I have not seen Boardwalk Empire. Yes, I'm an idiot. That's okay. But here's the interesting player in the Ole Miss portal additions over the weekend. A guy named Luke Farrelly played linebacker at Cal. He was the ACC newcomer of the year, pretty high-level linebacker. one of the few players that Dabo Swinney wanted in the transfer portal, and he got him. Moved all the way he's from California, this linebacker, moved all the way across the country to upstate South Carolina to go play for Dabo in Clemson. But then Ole Miss lost T.J. Daugherty to LSU. LSU decided to pay a premium for the linebacker, so he is off to Baton Rouge. Luke Farrelly visited Ole Miss at some point recently, but ultimately decided to go to Clemson, in part because Ole Miss has added one linebacker already, had Daugherty returning, worried about playing time. Am I going to get on the field? I can go to Clemson and start right away. Well, the Daugherty problem took care of itself. And Ole Miss and Farrelly re-engaged, but he had signed with Clemson. Apparently, he had already started classes at Clemson. And multiple reports say that Luke Farrelly is in Oxford, not to visit, because that's where he is going to play football in 2026. Why have you not seen an announcement? Well, depending on which Clemson reporter you believe, Clemson is trying to fight it and block him from transferring to Ole Miss. There's one problem from the Clemson perspective. He didn't have a rev share agreement, reportedly, from the Clemson side with Clemson. He didn't have a contract. There's no buyout. He just enrolled in school. If you don't have a binding contract with said player, you have to treat player like student. And student can go to one school and change their mind and go to a different one freely. But apparently, Clemson is going to try to fight this any way that they can.
Borkey, I don't know that they've got a leg to stand on because
they don't.
I am under the impression that he has not signed either of the contracts, either a rev share contract or an NIL contract at Clemson. And if that is the case, there's nothing to fight, is there? Other than for the sake of your feelings and maybe your fans?
You most certainly, I say most certainly, I shouldn't. I talked to I keep referencing, I've got two lawyer friends, Richard. I keep referencing the two of them. I'm talking to them both about the Trinidad thing, which, by the way, hey, Dad, you're going to love this. He sent me a 5-page breakdown of what the injunction and all that stuff is. I have yet to read it because it's so detailed. Mm-hmm. I will be able to talk much more eloquently about that tomorrow. It's amazing what he did. Trinidad Chambliss is going to play quarterback for Ole Miss in 2026. But I talked to the other one today, and basically he said, even in upstate South Carolina, you're going to have a hard time getting a judge to say you, without contract, have to go to school here. That's legally, there's nothing really to that. They can probably try to charge for tampering. They can do that if they want. It's impossible to enforce almost, so good luck. Clemson getting caught with their pants down is not surprising in this era, though. If you had a player on your campus, on your team, a high-level player, the ACC newcomer of the year, or rookie of the year, I guess is what they're calling it. We don't call them freshmen anymore. Rookie of the year. And you don't get him to sign anything? Then that's on you. And if you're upset, look right in the mirror with your anger.
Somebody says classes start tomorrow in Oxford. When is the deadline to enroll?
Like 2 more weeks.
So usually it's 2 weeks after classes start.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this is the game that you have to play. You have to play this, though. That's why at the end of last week, Hadad and I talked so much about don't cry about tampering. Here's why. You got to play the game, too. Yeah, Lane Kiffin's a bum. He tried to create chaos within your locker room in the final hour. Worked with maybe one player. But this is why you don't do that. Because this is the game you have to play. And Ole Miss was prepared to lose Daugherty, clearly. Because they replaced him with a high-quality linebacker, as it turns out.
Classes begin for the spring semester tomorrow at Ole Miss, the 20th of January. 2 weeks later is Tuesday, February the 3rd. told that is the deadline to enroll. So, yeah, got a little bit of time. And it's another instance of there's no such thing as calendars that line up. I mean, you get Clemson, who kids have been in school for a while already. Auburn has already been in school. I talked with somebody today that was a student at Auburn that had come home for the weekend since they had a 3-day weekend after just being home for a month. So you got semester systems. You've still got West Coast schools that are on quarter systems. I mean, it's all over the place.
Somebody sends a gif of Jimmy Fallon saying this seems to be more like a you problem. He says judges in South Carolina to Dabo. You're going to get a great Dabo quote, though. Oh, boy. He's going to get behind. The next time he gets to get behind a podium, he's going to have things to say.
Well, and
he will.
It's taken so long for Dabo to get to a place mentally that he was willing to engage with the transfer portal, and he's like, all right, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it the right way. Let's evaluate. Let's see who fits our culture. Let's go get one. And he gets one, and he thinks he's got a good piece. And then it's like, other people play by other rules with this whole portal thing.
Well, there's no rules to play by. Let's just be honest.
There's no rules.
So I can't get too upset there.
The only rules that you have is if you get a player to sign a binding contract. That's your rule. And the only thing that rule does is give you money back if you lose him.
It's not really a binding contract.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's financially binding.
It's an if-then.
Yeah. That's the only rules you got these days. It's just that one right there. Dirty game, but you got to play it. Yep. You just have to.
Somebody asked a version of this question. I may not have used the proper expletives in the proper places. I'll just eliminate those. Did Ole Miss improve their football team year over year?
They could have.
Depending on what they add on the offensive line?
Need a tackle badly. But the interior of the offensive line is all the same. Lacey back, Chambliss assumed back. That's a really good start.
Perkins, Eccles, Franklin is a great trio to build around on defense.
What you've done at linebacker in the portal is really good if Farrelly, in fact, is on campus and getting ready to play for you. Between him and the guy from Baylor, you've got something. And you got another one from Georgia Tech as well. You've added 3 portal linebackers. You got a hit, though, on them. Secondary should be good. You return players that you wanted. You get a great one from Auburn. Get a really good safety addition from Georgia. So there's a chance that they're better in the back end of the defense.
Of the
Receivers
21,
a big question.
Borkey, of the 21, I think that's the number, that are outgoing in the transfer portal for Ole Miss, who is the player that you are the most concerned about losing?
It's going to sound kind of goofy. Devin Harper. Because he's who you thought was going to play tackle for you.
It's not Prince Will.
I think they're more... Tackle is a position of bigger need than edge, I think.
While true, if you, let's say Seton is visiting, you can get him. Can you replace Prince Will at this point? Feels like you can get a left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, they've added... You've got Franklin returning, and you've added a couple of edges. One from Alabama, one from Oregon. Neither one of them have the production of 9 sacks in the SEC.
Well, Princeville didn't have that production prior to last year either.
I think losing Pounds and Williams, they're both to the NFL, but losing them is a more impactful loss than losing Princeville. Okay. Pounds didn't give up a sack in 14 games. I mean, that's more impressive than Princeville's season.
Pretty big deal. Hey, Dad, who's the player that Mississippi State lost in the portal that is most disappointing?
The State's done a great job with retention. They really have. If Javen James has gone in, it's probably him. If it's not, if he doesn't...
So a guy that wasn't even on the team last year.
Right. But, State, he played well enough.
Yeah.
If it's not him, pushing to think of somebody.
So of the 30-plus that entered the portal, they were mostly okay with those guys that left.
I would agree.
Sports Talk Mississippi streaming at supertalk.fm, SuperTalk TV, on your SuperTalk Mississippi radio stations, of course, always available on demand. And as a podcast, we got more coming up in the Pearl River Resort studio. Half an hour left on this Monday night, National Championship Monday.
Hey, this is Bob, and if you're Sports Talk Mississippi,
Are you ready?
on the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
Welcome back, Borkey, Hadad, Cross. Somebody on the text line says, I don't know what's more crazy, Major League Baseball winter meetings or the football portal.
There are rules in Major League Baseball for how the offseason is handled.
And a lockout coming.
It may feel wild, and you may get some transactions that you didn't see coming, but they fall within the structure of the rules. And yes, there is a lockout coming, after next season?
Yeah, probably so.
Mm-hmm. This December.
It feels like there are no rules in the college football piece.
Because there aren't.
Bill in Oxford says, let the NFL run college football. Like a subsidiary or minor league. Do away with the SEC office and Sankey and treat it like the business it is. That's from Bill in Oxford.
Andy Staples wrote an article today. I haven't read it, but that was one of the... It was about how to fix some of the things that are wrong with college football. And he talked about it's like create a partnership with the NFL.
Yeah, he said partner with.
Let them create a more reasonable calendar.
Yeah. We mentioned briefly about Georgia's president talking about, hey, look, if nobody's going to create any rules, we need to explore a breakaway. Dellinger wrote about that as well. That's a conversation that's happening now. And it needs to. I mean, look. Talked a second ago, talked about it on the podcast last night, talked about it on the podcast on Thursday, that you've got people that, and I understand why, that are very upset with how Lane Kiffin acted at the end of the portal window. He tried his hardest to get as many Ole Miss players to hit the portal as humanly possible. He's acting like Lane Kiffin, ultimately. And I understand the frustration. Truly, I do. I do think the best outcome here, though, is for all of this to get as ridiculous as humanly possible to where people can't ignore it anymore. Like, the crazier it gets, the more it becomes not unsustainable, because you're 5 years in. It's obviously sustaining, right?
And you got plenty of programs that are willing to do what it takes. There are a lot that don't like it. They don't like the system. They don't like the idea of it's just money on top of money on top of money, and you can't do it forever, and donor fatigue, and all of those things. But Indiana says we're in.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has said we're in. LSU says we're in. Georgia's in. Ohio State's in. There are a bunch of teams that are in, even if the price of entry is exorbitant. So,
in a way, I think the way all of this happened, the leaving the playoff team and the very public tampering and just how crazier this was gotten than the year before, which was crazier than the year before, is ultimately going to lead to the enough is enough conversation. At least it should. In the meantime, you got to do whatever it takes to win, but the absolute chaos that a chaos agent tried to inflict on your program, number one, didn't work. He took 4 players of yours. If he can get Prince Will. That's all he took. But it also could lead to what everybody wants, is rules and structure and collective bargaining and breakaway and all that. It's very interesting.
But there's still one significant problem with collective bargaining. Both sides have to agree to it. And despite the fact that a lot of players have gotten horrible advice from agents, and you have there are good, honest, reasonable agents that are out there, but there are a lot of snakes that are out there too, that are giving bad advice, that are holding on to NIL rights, that are charging way more than they should be charging in terms of a percentage to negotiate these NIL deals. But even with that, why would the players agree to go down a road of collective bargaining where they are then putting caps on what they can get, what they can earn?
You have to play hardball with them. Well, how does the NFL get those players to collectively bargain?
It's a system that was established far before what the current NFL is.
Do you want to play in the big stadiums? Do you want to have the best facilities? Do you want all of this money that we have? You have to sit down at the table. If you don't, okay. But you will not be afforded the platform that we provide anymore. And that's how you do it. You have to do what baseball's going to do, possibly. I don't know if you can lock out college football, but if you want to explore that, you get the most meaningful programs in the country. The SEC can't do it on its own. The Big Ten can't do it on its own. You have to get together and bring a handful with you. Even though Clemson's way behind, bring Clemson with you. Bring Florida State with you. Texas Tech, etc. And that's what you do. Do you want this money that we have? Have you seen the budget? Ole Miss is about to have a $200 million athletic budget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want a cut of this? Sit down. If you don't, that's fine. You won't get it. There's your negotiation. You are the platform. You are the teams. They can't play for you if they don't negotiate with you.
So two things I would say, and this is not me arguing with you. This is just, I think, the other side of what you're saying. Everybody's giving lip service to the idea of we want structure, we want rules, and yet there is an opportunity for rules to be in place with this CSC agreement that's out there, and you got a bunch of schools and even conferences that are suggesting don't sign it. Don't sign it. There was a rule structure. Now, maybe it wasn't a good rule structure, or at least not entirely good, but even though a lot of programs are giving lip service to we need structure, we need guardrails, we need rules in place to normalize this a little bit, programs that weren't previously able to compete at the highest level in college football are now competing. One of them is playing for a national championship tonight. And then the other piece of this, did you say, I think it was a quote from Ross Bjork in an interview that he did that said this 22% rev share number could double in the next year? That's a number that was agreed to 3 years ago, and it's already outdated. I don't know if everybody agrees with that or not, but I mean, the 22% has equaled, what, $20.5 million, give or take, in rev share that football programs are allowed to use, and they're saying, hey, that number could be closer to $40 million in what schools are allowed to share.
Well, if it's anybody that's going to lead us into the future of college sports,
I'm just saying,
I want it to be him.
He is the athletics director at The Ohio State University.
For now.
For now.
They're not real through. No cupcakes, though.
Or gumballs.
No cupcakes.
Or tricycles.
Did you see that Marcus Freeman was just on the set of whatever pregame show they're doing, and fans chanted the entire time Pop-Tarts at him?
Oh, God. Well, good.
Who doesn't like Pop-Tarts?
Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame?
Yeah.
They don't not like Pop-Tarts. They want to play in the Pop-Tarts bowl. That's a big difference.
If you can play for a trophy that is a working toaster.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying that my guess, especially the linemen on that team, all like Pop-Tarts.
He voted not to play for them.
I mean, you can get them at the grocery store. They're not,
you can even go to gas stations.
Yeah, it's not like they're a rare item.
There's nothing that I love more about this country than when you walk down that aisle and you get to the Pop-Tart section, and there are dozens of options. Dozens of anything you can think of that you can put into a Pop-Tart that is sweet, they've got it there. They got banana bread. They got everything.
Yeah.
What a great country. You can't get that in England.
I take your word for that. I don't know.
They eat beans for breakfast over there, not us. Give me 2 sugar-filled rectangles to give to a 6-year-old on the way to school, man. That's what we do here in the States.
That's right.
No musical fruit in Manchester, you say?
No, there is the musical fruit. They have beans.
Yes,
we're the ones who aren't
eating
eating
the beans.
beans.
That correctly.
Beans, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
No musical fruit in the United States for breakfast.
Yes,
No.
It's magical fruit here. It comes in the form of a Pop-Tart. Did you eat some fruit today? Yeah, I had a Pop-Tart.
Exactly. It was a blueberry Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Plenty of antioxidants.
That's when we
vitamin C.
They may have reshaped the food guide pyramid, but
put the Pop-Tarts on top of the pyramid.
Exactly.
Everybody should be eating a Pop-Tart every morning.
I do love how I can justify my own actions to myself when we go get donuts and I get a blueberry donut. I'm like, that was kind of healthy.
It's fruit.
Yeah, there's blueberries in there. I don't even know if there are real blueberries in there, but
they're close enough. At some point, something in there was a blueberry at one time.
At least part of it was.
Yes. It's like a diet food when you really think about it.
Flavor, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they got the blueberry flavor out of the essence of a blueberry at some point. So yeah, diets. It's health food when you really think about it.
America,
Borkey.
That's right.
What?
I just,
I like Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts are great.
I like donuts, too.
Gosh, I like donuts too much.
Hard for me to justify the brown sugar and cinnamon frosting Pop-Tart.
That maybe be a hot fudge sundae one. Maybe that's not too healthy.
We'll be back, wrapping up the show with you next.
Hey guys, this is
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Introducing to you
Sports Talk Mississippi.
If you were at the national championship game in Miami tonight, as an Ole Miss fan, you probably would want to be wearing your Ole Miss gear from Gentile. Gentile, the official apparel provider of Sports Talk Mississippi. You can find them online at gentileapparel.com. If you're looking for a little bit of savings, they do have some year-end clearance items that are available, and the spring stuff is probably a better way to describe it. The spring apparel, the spring items are on their way in on an almost daily basis. By the way, sitting in the floor of my wife's office, wrapped up in neat piles, some Gentile apparel for both of you boys.
All right.
I don't know when I'm going to see you again. We got to figure that out, but we'll make it work.
One of these days.
One of these days.
We'll make it happen.
GentileApparel.com.
You guys rooting for anybody tonight? I know you made your picks, but who are you kind of pulling for?
Well, I have a ton of Indiana fans that are friends of mine, so probably the Hoosiers on that one. I have one Purdue fan, so I just have to feel bad for him.
Is he cheering for Miami?
He is 100% cheering for Miami.
Yeah. There's some orange in the stadium. Maybe it just happens to be the camera angle that they've got going right now, but there appears to be a lot of red as well.
Think about that statement, though. That's Miami's home stadium, and there's some orange in there.
I mean, it honestly looks about like it looked in Phoenix.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I think Indiana, I'm kind of pulling for Indiana because I think them winning is, said it earlier, the message that sends to college football. Maybe the legacy media of college football will wake up to today's reality. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. And Indiana winning should wake up a lot of people to what the sport has become. Frustrating, annoying, all about the money, etc. And also, hey, your team can do it too. And I think that's really important.
I agree with that. I think I do.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's fun that there is a non-traditional power in college football that tonight is 60 minutes away from winning its first ever national championship. And it just happens to be what coming into this season was the losingest program in the history of major college football. And they went out and they hired the right coach, and they did a great job in terms of evaluating. They did a great job in terms of recruiting. They did a great job in terms of roster building. Their fans have bought in. And, man, they're having a blast. They are on college football's biggest stage tonight. And then on the other side, Miami has not won a national championship since 2001. Now, there are a whole bunch of programs that would like to be able to say, yeah, I hadn't won a national championship in 25 years, as opposed to 50 or 60 or 70 or never. But by Miami standards, with what they were in the 80s and the 90s, 2001 was a long time ago. And how big a contrast of styles is tonight? Because we kind of talk about, Miami road graders on the offensive and defensive line, but are you underselling Indiana?
Yeah, if you say that, yes. It's not that big a contrast. These are both two very big, physical football teams. They want to run the football. This game shouldn't take long. Like, the advertisers are going to be mad. I don't know if they'll get all their spots in, because they're just going to run the football.
Want to bet?
Yeah, they'll get them in one way or the other. Yeah, just don't remind me. But
want to bet? But
yeah, this should be a. I don't think it's a contrast of styles. I think it's two very similar teams. They do things differently, but they both are they want to be the more physical team.
Who's a better quarterback, Borkey?
Oh, Fernando Mendoza.
Passing yard numbers are similar, much higher in touchdowns for Mendoza, fewer interceptions. Mm-hmm. But man, oh man, there were so many, self-included, sitting in Glendale, Arizona a week and a half ago, fully expecting Carson Beck to make the mistake that he's always made, and he just didn't. He just didn't. Heck of a scene at Hard Rock Stadium for the College Football Playoff National Championship. And on January the 19th, the 2025 football season is going to come to an end. And a year from now, we'll have to wait 6 more days. It'll be January 25th of 2027 when the 2026 season comes to an end.
I'm already ready for next season. Let's go.
Hey, Dad, better coach, Kurt Cignetti or Mario Cristobal?
Cignetti.
Cristobal a chance to exercise a bunch of demons tonight.
No doubt. But, I mean, I don't think either one of us would take Cristobal over Cignetti if we had to pick.
The College Football National Championship game starts in a little less than an hour. Thanks for being with us. Sports Talk Mississippi on this Monday, the 19th of January. For Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey, I'm Richard Cross. Good night from the Pearl River Resort Studios.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.